Hey guys, there was a lot of you absent today when we were working on our project, and I still expect these projects to be done on Monday when you come into class. So that's why it's listed on your Google Classroom page as due on Monday. So I'm going to take a little recording here to show you some of the tips that I gave to people who were in class today, and they got a better understanding of exactly what they should be doing when they're drawing their stadium. If you were in class today and you're still not quite sure, hopefully this video will help you out too. Okay, so the first thing I would do is, here's your paper, I would put home plate down first. Okay, so I would put it in the bottom left-hand corner, not too far down because you still want to be able to draw the circle around home plate, and not too far in because you'll never be able to get your outfield wall in the space. But close to the corner, but not too close to the corner. So I would say right about here is probably a good point to put home plate. Okay, and then the next thing I would do is make sure that I draw my left field line and my right field line, because then that's going to set up everything else for your project. It's going to make it a little bit easier to draw everything. So let's say, for example, I know that my left field line was 355 feet. Okay, so that was roughly 17, and it was about 17 point, we'll just say 17.8. Okay, so I'm going to measure out 17.8 centimeters, and let's say it comes to about here. Okay, so on the graph paper, that's easy to use because you can go right down that line. Okay, and that's also why I said to you to kind of backtrack a little. I said to draw your field on an angle because your four bases, first base, second base, and third base, together they form a square, that distance between the four bases. So we have a 90-degree angle that's formed here between third base, home plate, and first base. So it makes it a lot easier to draw on the graph paper if you put your field on an angle, like I have on the diagram, or I'm sorry, the example that I gave you. Okay, so I would draw my left field line, and then what I want to do once I have that point, then I'm going to take my ruler. Now your ruler will be long enough. I'll take my ruler and I'll draw that line. Okay, and I'll draw that left field line, and I'll draw that right field line. Okay, so let's say my right field line, for example, maybe it was 360 feet. So let's say that's 360 feet. So that's going to give me an 18. Okay, so 18 centimeters that's going to be. So let's say I measure out 18 centimeters, and let's say it goes to about here. Okay, so again, same thing. I'm going to draw that line. Okay, and now I have my two lines, my left field line and my right field line. So now my field is kind of set up, and it makes it a little bit easier to draw everything else. And the next thing I would draw is your pitcher's mound. And we talked in class about the conversion for the pitcher's mound. So the pitcher's mound is going to be 3 centimeters from home plate when you draw it. So when I draw that, I'm going to put my pitcher's mound there. Okay, and then just make a little diagram so I have it. Okay, and then I would probably draw my bases. That was probably the easiest thing to draw next. Okay, so I'd find what the scaled measure should be for my bases, and I would put those in. So here's where one would go, and then I'd measure the other one, and that one probably goes about here, and then I would measure that last one, and that one goes about here. So then I would draw the bases in. Okay, and then the last thing you have are the pitcher circle, the home plate circle, and then the infield outfield line, which it said it was a radius from the pitcher's mound. So those measurements, okay, when I do the circle, okay, this was an 18-foot diameter. So when I find that scaled measurement, okay, whatever that is, I want to kind of find the middle of that measurement and put that in the middle of my pitcher's mound, okay? And then what I want to do is I'll just put a point at 0, and then whatever that measurement was, okay? And then maybe I'll do it this way as well. Okay, I put my measurement in the middle, one at 0, one at this way, and now I have 4 points that I can kind of use to help draw a circle with the diameter that I found. And then I would do the same thing around home plate. Okay, around that home plate circle, maybe do the same thing, a point at 0, a point at the scaled value that I found, and then do the same thing this way. I put my value in the middle, point at 0, point at the scaled value I found, and then that way I have some points that I could draw a circle around. Okay, and then I want to do the same thing with the infield-outfield line. Whatever you found was your scaled measure. Remember, it's measured from the pitcher's mound, okay? So I would find whatever that scaled measure is, okay, and then I would probably create points going around. I would do it a couple times. I'd turn in, wherever that scaled measure is, okay, and then just create some points going around, okay, and then maybe put ones right on these left field foul line and right field foul line, okay, and now this way I have a nice guide of where to draw my semicircle for the infield outfield line, okay, so the infield's done, that's easy to do. Now there's the measurements that go around the outfield wall, and that's what makes your field unique, so yours are different than anybody else's. So what you want to do for those, okay, so for example, if I just show you a rough sketch of what my field looked like, okay, let's say for example this point right here was 375 feet, this point was 400 feet, maybe this one was 365, okay, in these spots. So I'm going to find that scaled measure of 375, okay, and it looks like on my diagram it would be about here. So I'm going to measure it, but I'm not going to draw a line because I don't have a line that's going to go through the field, okay. I would just measure where that was, and I'd put a point there, okay. So I know about where that measurement is, all right. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the middle, and let's say maybe that was 20 centimeters, so that's going to be about there. And I find this one, okay, I measure it out, and I'm just going to put a point where they are, okay. So I kind of have, all right, I kind of have a measuring stick of how to measure some of these out, okay. And now what I want to do is go back to the diagram that I found of my stadium and take a look at how the outfield wall is designed and use these points, these measurements that I had to help me kind of draw that stadium wall then, okay. So maybe mine's a straight line from here to here, so now I can draw it. Maybe your stadium curves to this point, so you can draw that. And then maybe it curves to this point, you can draw that. My stadium has a unique feature where it kind of dips down and curves that way. So that's what my outfield wall would look like, okay? Using the diagram that I have, that's kind of how my outfield wall would look, all right? And then the last thing I want to make sure I do is I label the dimensions that I found for my outfield wall. So I make sure I have those labeled, okay, so that anybody who's looking at it can see what these measurements should be, okay? So I have that labeled. I have my infield drawn. I have my outfield wall drawn. I want to make sure that I label the stadium. The stadium that I drew was Wrigley Field, so I would put Wrigley Field, okay, and I can write home of the Chicago Cubs. Okay, and that way I can label what the stadium is so anybody who's looking at this scale model knows exactly what they're looking at. And then the last thing you want to make sure you do with this is make it neat, make it attractive, okay? So color in the infield, okay? The infield's usually dirt, so if you want to make it some shade of brown, and then the outfield grass is going to be green, okay? So you want to make sure you color that in. If you want to put a logo in the center, like I have on my example, okay? If you look up a logo for the team that you have, you can do that. All right, something that's going to help, make it look neat and attractive, help you in that 5 out of 5 on the rubric, okay? So make sure that you find all the measurements that are asked for in the directions. Make sure you have all your measurements on your outfield wall, that you are labeling them and you have them drawn down, okay? And make sure you're using the correct scale, 1 foot to 20 centimeters, and then make sure, like I said at the end, you make it look neat so that it looks nice, so that when I hang them up, everybody can enjoy your wonderful work. Okay, good luck.